So today we're going to be checking out the brand new Yves Saint Laurent Y Parfum. Another new release that I'm very pumped about, very excited. As a whole, I like the Yves Saint Laurent Y lineup. I think they have a lot of great offerings. Of course, the EDP is my favorite, but I really liked what they've done here with this blue fragrance DNA. Yves Saint Laurent Y EDT, obviously what started it all. We have the EDP, which is basically the same thing, but with monstrous performance. I will admit, Y Live, a little bit redundant, not one of my favorites. And then, of course, Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau Fresh, which is the newest version up until now, of course, is a nice, vibrant, uplifting, even more summer-based version of the line. And that one's going to be best for the really, really high heat. Y EDT, EDP still has a little bit of that sweetness, but Y Eau Fresh does a great job at it. Today we're going to be checking out the Le Parfum version. Very excited about this one here, and I'm going to let you know my first impressions on this one. So here's the bottle. Let's have a good look at this. I have to say, out of all the bottles, this one is my favorite by far. I'm just a sucker for blacked out bottles. I think they look so sleek, so classy. I just think it's ultra cool. You can see the Y logo on the side is also black. Cap up top, a little bit of a silver accent, but other than that, it is just murdered out and it looks awesome. Big fan of bottles like this. We're going to go ahead and give this one a spray. I'm going to start out on paper first, and then I'll do a spray on skin as well. I like to start out on paper because most people who go into a department store spray them on paper, and that's how the sales associates will like to sell fragrances to you. They'll spray it on paper and then talk to you for hours on how good it is. So we'll go ahead and start there first, of course. Spray already came a little bit primed, but not too bad. Let's go ahead and give this one a smell. Very vibrant up top, very fruity. Apple coming through immediately. Nice, juicy, crisp, sweet apple. Immediately tonka bean. So it's immediately that tonka bean apple sweetness. A little bit of a minty geranium touch in here. And honestly, guys, it's really smelling a lot like Y EDT, EDP right off the bat. I mean, this is not a different version, you know, they're not completely changing up the DNA. They're really following the same trend here, just adding a lot of that almost bubblegum candied sweetness up top from that apple tonka bean. Nice minty geranium in there as well. Opens up very fresh, very vibrant, but with that touch of sweetness and that touch of playfulness that you get from really all of the other ones. So I am going to go ahead and read off the note breakdown for you guys. Up top we have aldehydes, ginger, grapefruit, and apple. In the mid we have sage, lavender, geranium, and in the base we have cedar, tonka bean, olibanum, and patchouli. So I just did a spray on skin here to see how it opens up that way. And really a similar thing going on. That sweetness comes through right up top, that apple, tonka bean, geranium, mintiness. Now what I do find is that this one has a bit more of an aromatic fougere lean to it. And you'll see that's how this one is described by the brand. And this is directly from Fragrantica. It says the perfume is announced as a powerful and dark fougere composition. So you really do pick up on that. Now a lot of that's going to be coming from the geranium and the lavender and the sage as well. Really the mid of this fragrance is where you're getting that fougere quality. So the geranium used in a ton of aromatic fougères gives off kind of a mintiness. The lavender gives off this slightly classic, slightly soapy, clean type of smell. And on skin, that comes through a lot more than on paper. On paper, it was just straight up kind of this fruity juiciness right off the bat. And you still do get that a little bit, but it stayed on paper. Whereas on skin, a kind of fougere mid that you get from this one comes out a lot more. And on skin, it will differentiates itself from EDP, Live, and the Eau de Toilette. A lot of focus on that lavender and geranium here in this version. You get a little bit of a spicy ginger kick, and also the aldehydes in here coming back from the EDT is there to give just a little bit of this bright airiness as well. And like I mentioned a million times, the apple sweetness coming through along with that tonka bean. So when I first sprayed this one on paper, I really wasn't too excited. I'm like, okay, this smells a lot like the others. But now that I've tried it on skin, it really is showing its true colors, and it does set itself apart from the rest of the line, which is awesome. You don't want redundant flankers. We just don't have time for that, right? We have so many fragrances out there to choose from, and if we're getting redundant flankers, there's no excitement for that, and you don't get that here. Of course, time will tell as this one does dry down, as I give it more wearings and as I discover the performance from this one, but I have to say that fougere mid is killer. I'm a sucker for aromatic fougere leaning scents, and kind of combining that blue fragrance DNA a little bit and kind of that apple fruity sweetness up top that you get from the rest of the line, along with a bit of a clean, somewhat mature aromatic fougere DNA is genius. And it's really kind of like what a lot of other brands have done with their parfums. Sauvage Parfum really kind of goes towards that aromatic fougere direction, and it's the same thing here. I have to say, it smells awesome. And one thing that's interesting here is there's no mention of amberwood according to the note breakdown on this one. Now, do I believe that? I'm not 100% sure I do. I think, according to my nose, there's some sort of ambrox and amberwood in here. There's just gotta be. It pops off immediately in the opening, and I do get that. So maybe they're not listing it. They're trying to make you focus on the aromatic fougere direction that this one is going. But I do pick up on some sort of amberwood for sure. The rest of the line has it, and again, it would surprise me if they didn't include that in here, because it does come across that way. It's not a main player like in some of the others, but I think it is there. So immediately, right off the bat, why Parfum, or Le Parfum I should say, I think is a really, really nice release. Of course, this is something I'm gonna need to test more, but as of right now, I would say this is falling in number 2. Of course, the EDP still at the forefront just as I test this one more, but after that, Why Le Parfum is probably going to be my favorite, and following that, the Eau Fraiche version as well. And who knows, as I test this one more, it may start to become my favorite over the EDP. Part of the reason why I like the EDP so much and why I recommend it is just because it is a great, mass appealing, versatile scent. And I think this one will definitely fall into the same category. Compliments wise, I think it'll do good. Maybe not quite as good as the EDP, but that's something that will have to be tested. And also, this one is not yet available on discounters, and I don't even think it's available in the US yet. I did order this one overseas, so that's another reason why I'm going to need to wait and test it more, and really just wait till it gets here to where you can pick it up at a discount. I don't like recommending things that can't be bought at a discount if they normally are able to. Niche fragrances is a different story, but designers that will show up on discounters, I don't like to recommend everyone to go out and purchase at retail or to purchase overseas. I like to wait for things to come over here, get at a nice discount, and then recommend them. But I would say once this one does land at discounters, you can get it at a nice discount like the other Yves Saint Laurent Y fragrances. This one here will be a really, really good pickup. So going to go ahead and start to wrap this one up. My final thoughts on Le Parfum. Really, really solid release. Again, as it stands right now, the stuff is right next to the Eau de Parfum in terms of how much I like it. That fougere mid in this is amazing smelling. Very nice, very smooth, very well blended. Performance is something that I will test, and I will follow up with a full review. I have to say, my initial impressions are that this one is actually really solid, and I was a little bit skeptical, but it's good. So guys, if you're excited to try this one, let me know down below by leaving a like and comment on this video. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure you get to subscribe to the channel as well. And if you do have interest in any of the other Yves Saint Laurent Y fragrances, I will link them down below to discounters so you can pick them up there. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.